All right, happy Saturday night, everybody. We thought when we were going to start Raiderland Rewind tonight here in the Hat Creek Interior Studios today, we would be saying good afternoon. But yeah, happy Saturday night after another long weather delay. But it was worth the wait. Texas Tech now 3-0, first time under Joey McGuire. A walk in the park, 45-14 win for Texas Tech. We get your thoughts tonight on Raiderland Rewind, presented to you and brought to you by Lubbock's own Live Life Well Clinic, headed up by Dr. John Skelton, a great Red Raider. They want you to live the life that God created you to live and live it healthy and do it now and not wait till later on when you get unhealthy. When you're trying to get healthy, we can do things now, guys and gals. But I want you to check out their website, their Facebook page, and everything else, and drop them a line and find out everything the Live Life Well Clinic can do for you. Maybe you've been kind of frustrated with your health trajectory, things not working out for you. I promise you, they will be there to help you out and do great things for you. And we're glad to have them as a huge part of what we do in Raiderland and the presenting sponsor this year of Raiderland Rewind as we come to you here in the Hat Creek Interior Studios. All right, what do you want to talk about tonight? We ask you the questions every week. What did you like? What did you love? And then what wasn't so good? What do you want to see cleaned up? We got some things we can talk about to clean up. We keep saying after 3 games now, we'll learn a little bit more this week. We'll learn a little bit more next week. We'll learn a little bit of this. So we gave up a few things. You know, we learned a few things. There are some things Texas Tech, I think, can do better going forward. I think they will. But I think, and I was having this discussion with my son tonight in the mid-late fourth quarter. It's like, I think this team's pretty good. I mean, I think they are. And we can sit there and do the old saw of, okay, well, who have they played up to this point? Okay. But they've beaten bad teams badly. They have done what they have needed to do. They've trounced them. It was 123-0 in the first half this year when your ones are going up against the other team's ones. So we got a lot of good stuff again to talk about. Baron Morton, Coy Aiken. We talked about the matchup with Aiken, I believe, with you guys this week on the daily broadcast. I know we did on a KFYL radio on Friday, talking about how this was just a mismatch, that they had an undersized slot coverage guy at about 5'9", and you could tell early on that Morton was just kind of looking around. Where's our size matchup? Let's go to it. And Aiken, just a monster night. And I want to warn you tonight, the stats coming out of TexasTech.com, they had problems all night long. Not necessarily their fault, but the best stats right now, I believe, are probably on CBS Sportsline or CBSSports.com, their game tracker and their post-game box score. That's what we're going to use tonight. And it looks like, until further notice, Tech was 1 yard away from 600 yards of total offense this evening. Baron Morton was spectacular. He has been. There is a Heisman Trophy candidate from the state of Texas. He just doesn't play in Austin right now. So give me your thoughts. Share it with your friends. Invite them in on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. We love everybody there on our Facebook page for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. All of our platforms are free, so you can sign up, subscribe, all of them, and then everything we do, we archive at theraiderland.com. And, of course, our YouTube folks like Alan getting in tonight, who's keeping up. He is our correspondent, even though he doesn't live in Salt Lake City and Utah anymore. He is keeping up with the goings-on in Laramie. 3-0 Utes at the half. Not 2 Utes, but just 3 Utes points in this one. Hey, we got stuff to talk about in the Big 12, but yeah. Has the first team defense given up points this year at all? No. They haven't. I mean, say what you want about the non-conference schedule. I think it's putrid. These teams are not very good at all. But you haven't been able to do this in the last 20 years of beating bad teams badly. Not the way you're doing it right now. Let's see. James jumping in on that United Supermarkets chat line. We want to give a shout out to our friends at United Supermarkets, great partners with us here in Raiderland. They're all over the West Texas and into the Metroplex and other places. They're one of your go-to places for all of your tailgating needs, of course. So many of you probably stopped by United Supermarkets or Market Street today. So get it on the chat line tonight. Get your questions, comments, thoughts fired in. There are legitimate things to be, if not concerned about, as I said, clean up a few things. James, is the O-line good enough to get the dirty yards? 3rd and 2, for example. Well, let's just go right to it. A little over a yard per rush 1.6 average yards per rush in the first half. Of course, you're throwing for a bajillion yards and you're killing them through the air. But yeah, I think that is one thing that I want to watch going forward. And it's still been a very vanilla blocking scheme, in my opinion, short yardage and otherwise. But is that a legitimate deal? Yeah. You end up rushing for what was it, $166 when it was all said and done. I think that was your total rush yard. No, 133 when it was all said and done. So you ended up with a higher rush average than what it had been. But yeah, first half or whatever, I'm like, okay, get a little bit more here. I'm with you. I think it bears watching. I think this is a good offensive line. They certainly can pass block. I think they can run block. I just don't think they've had to do a whole lot of it to this point. Chris Carpenter just likes shouting out Jacoby Williams' name. Screen pass, touchdown, beautiful thing of work, setting up blocks. Him and Dickey, I think, showing you a little, if not thunder and lightning, two interesting backs. And can we, for a moment, think if you had all three backs healthy right now, what that run game would look like? Goodness gracious! You throw Joyner into the mix with this, Chris, we all know Laramie can be a trap. Oh, yes, it can. Obviously, Utah caught looking ahead to the Red Raiders, and who can blame them? Who can blame them? Wanting to set up that big game next Saturday, 10 a.m. local start. They'll be all hopped up on decaffeinated tea. 10-0 now Utah. TD drive to start the half. Allen reporting in on our YouTube channel. The fake Natalie Maines, who could be the real Natalie Maines. Dear Hyatt, how are you? I'm glad to hear that you are fine. I am fine as well. The night's stat was the Dan Lanning presser after the Oregon Northwestern game. Just so you know, love you. It was an amazing speech that Dan Lanning gave today. If you hadn't seen it, go check it out. It's all out there. Larry gets in off the YouTube channel, which we want 1,000 subscribers by the end of football. You guys will get us there by sharing it, inviting people in. Solid, not perfect. No, not perfect. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I do wonder about the non-use of Hudson, the universal talent. Otherwise, first team is great, second is not. There are better receivers ahead of him. You didn't have much of a return game tonight because they didn't kick too much. But so when we talk about the non-use of Hudson he hadn't been able to beat out people to get more reps. It's not a non-use. It's the talent's better than he is. I'm not. Please don't take that to think that I'm saying he's a bust. He was highly regarded. You got to prove it on the field. Leave it at that. Double T Dad. He's a double T. He's a dad and he's got double T's. He's on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. 80 yards and penalties. Suboptimal, not good. This was the first time this year where you saw, and I don't know if the long delay, 2 hours and 23 minutes, the easy game, the lack of focus, but you were seeing false starts. You saw a couple of ticky-tack holds, whatever, for a Pac-12 crew. I don't think they came in and hammered you or anything. Maybe they were just trying to keep it moderately close. But, I mean, you did have too many fouls. You had the hands to the quarterback's face, and that was a legit call. You had a couple of things that extended some drives for them. They really, at one point, you were the only one stopping you. This is the first time we've seen pre-snap penalties, in my opinion, or a couple of things like that be a problem. I'm going to chalk it up to, hey, you might not have been as laser-focused mentally today. I mean, think of it. This is a long day. A long day where you get up, fairly early in the morning. If you're a Tech football player, you're at the facility, you do all this stuff. And I mean, we're sitting there in the press box and I'm like, I'm looking at the lightning chart or the lightning radar deal and where it is. And I go, we're going to get this thing to kick off. And I thought they were going to do the national anthem and go, we are now in a weather delay. But no, we had 5 plays and then we're now in a weather delay. And it just goes on and on. And may I say, it's amazing that we never had weather up until the last few years in college football. Most of these delays are senseless, in my opinion. They don't need to happen. unless it is hailing, unless lightning is striking the light poles. Play. Now, if the fans don't want to be out there, that's fine. But we've gone decades upon decades upon decades without having to do this, and now we have, and it's far too long on this 30-minute deal. Take a 10-minute deal. Let's do every 10 minutes if we want to do it. But these weather delays are stupid, in my opinion. Just, I hate them. So I think all of that affected a long day, maybe a lack of focusing. You're still at 45-0 when this game was over at half. You're still at 45-0. They get a couple of garbage time touchdowns. So am I going to look at this and go, yeah, I'm not, you don't want that many penalties. Joey Maguire secretly loves it because it gives you something to talk about. You can talk about we got to get a little more push offensively on the line, on some run game. We got to clean up the penalties. We got to do this. You got to have something to talk about. James, I think the secondary might have a mean streak in them. Yeah, Pollock today gets the 2 picks. Now, of course, one of those I might have been able to do at my advanced age wearing boots. But I wanted to, this was a team that had a really high passing frequency. Nearly 60% of their downs coming in were passing downs. Wanted to see the secondary have to cover a little bit longer than they had in the first 2 games and see how they handled it. I thought they handled it really well. They close well, and I've got written down in the notes. And yes, we have copious amounts of notes every game. Far too many for this game tonight. This team tackles really good. Have you guys noticed that? The one-on-one tackling, the solo tackles that they might give up a catch for 4 yards underneath or whatever, but it doesn't turn into a 10-yard yak or rack or whatever you want to call it. They go make the play. Solo tackles by linebackers and secondary. That's huge. And that doesn't, I don't care who you're playing, bad team or not. File that away, because I think that's been one of the biggest differences on this team has been the tackling. And I don't know if it's just that they are superior athletes and they're better than what you put on the field the last decade plus, longer. If they do something different in their preparation and drills. But that may be one of the single most impressive things I've seen out of this defensive unit that I think gets off the bus, no matter who you're playing, where you're playing, is you go make one-on-one tackles. Glad you're with us tonight. We're in the Hat Creek Interior Studios. They're dedicated to delivering a superior custom and customer experience, the best in Western furniture, not just regionally, not just statewide, not from here to Denver, nationally. Check them out on their website, hatcreek.us. Got the showroom here in Lubbock. Go there, look at it. They ship anywhere in the known United States and probably even outside it. And they are just really cool people. Corey Flanagan, great dude. Go in there, check out all they have to offer at Hat Creek Interiors. We can't do this without our great sponsors. We talk about the power of 5 every night. 5 of you go to our sponsors on Facebook or social media and say, hey, thank you, Hat Creek, for being a part of Raiderland. Thank you, Live Life Well Clinic. Can't wait to visit with you, Dr. Skelton. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for United Supermarkets for sponsoring Raiderland and what they do. 5 people every night do that. That's huge. And I'll say it again, it's not just our media and what we do in Raiderland and theraiderland.com. It's anything you enjoy. Tell the sponsors that make it possible. Randy Wade. Spent a week one night in Laramie. All my years, and my brother got his master's degree at Wyoming, and I never once have spent a night in Laramie. And I hate that. Casper, yes. Chris, I agree, play the game. I do seem to remember some NASCAR fans being killed, struck by lightning in the stands. So I'm sure programs fear liability. I know we live in a litigious society now, but on the back of the ticket, they talk about, acts of God and everything else. And pretty much, whatever you're going to do. It's up to you. If you don't want to be out there, I get it. Understand. Let's keep playing. All those light poles and lightning rods, right? Lynn, weather delays, stupid. Shorten them up 10 minutes. Totally agree on the weather delays. Such BS. Chris, the tackling the past 15 years has been dreck. I don't think it was that good. The defensive line is stout, period. Chris Coburn, I appreciate you mentioning that because they were still getting pushed with a four-man front. I saw a few more concept games tonight. There after the resumption of play, I saw a really cool. We're going to fake coming into the A gap, take 2 steps back, and drop out of that. It's not a zone blitz necessarily, but it's something I don't think they had shown that to us just yet. Put that on film. But Lee Hunter takes over the A gap. You're getting push, you're getting penetration, you're collapsing the pocket from the edges, and you're doing it without having to bring extra pressure for the most part. And again, I hadn't seen. I would love to see if somebody's got a breakdown on the percentage of plays where Texas Tech has used stunts with the defensive lineman. It can't be very high, which means Utah is sitting there going, all right, we got to go look at Houston. We got to go look at this. We got to go look at some other tape to try to figure out what they may do with these guys. Bailey makes Romello Height better. Well, Bailey just a couple of times. Just he got back one time so quickly he got too deep, which is a problem at times for really athletic defensive ends and edge rushers, that you can accelerate so quickly that then the tackle just kind of rides you. He waltzes you back a little bit. He doesn't block you. He waltzes you back. And that's when you got to kind of come underneath a little bit. You don't want to lose contain, but that's a challenge sometimes for those guys who are really good, that they blow by and do all that good stuff. I can't relate. No one ever accused me of that. Not that I don't think I ever lined up at defensive end at any stage in my illustrious career. Charlie, hey, it's a bolt of Holt. The best touchdown play tonight, the throw to Jacoby, runs through Minnie and scores, then spins the football, gets an unsportsmanlike penalty. That's too bad. Charlie, that was the screen pass. That was as close to watching Taj Brooks setting up blocks and waiting and then accelerating that you're going to see this year. Obviously, he learned from one of the best, I think, when it comes to setting up blocks. It was a beautiful play. 3rd and 26, 3rd and 23, 3rd and 1. No, Texas Tech. They mock your long third downs tonight. What was it in the first half? First half passing, under 5 yards, 9 of 12, but the yak on that was really good. Passing 5 to 14 yards, 2 of 3, and 15 yards or more in the first half, 2 of 5, which is that's 5 attempts downfield. This team is attacking downfield pretty well right now. And again, when this game mattered, first down, you're in 19 first down plays in the first half, 116 yards, 6.1 yards per average first down snap, and you held them to 0.9 yards on first down. When this game was moderately a game, your average yards for completion, 22.7 in the first, 22.7 average yards per completion. Average per attempt was 11, I think, in the first half. All that's really good. No concerns about a very vanilla game on O&D, 3-0. Yeah, easily 3-0. Again, what's happening this year doesn't happen around here very often. I know we got to look for things. That's okay. James, does the pace of play seem to be more consistent with the ones? If I'm reading the question right, does it seem crisper and everything else? It better. It should. And we'll see. I mean, at some point, Texas Tech's going to get punched in the mouth. At some point, Utah or whoever, somebody's going to come at them and make them really earn it. And we're going to find out, what does this team do when they've had a couple of 3-and-outs on offense? What does this first team defense do when they give up a, 9-play, 75-yard drive, or a lightning strike, 60-yard, huge chunk play? How do they handle that? I don't know. Lynn had chicken tonight. Fajitas brought to you by United Supermarkets in Market Street. Rock on. Good job. Can't go wrong. Alan jumping in talking about Market Street in Colleyville, the awesome Oktoberfest display of beer. It worked. How we doing, by the way, Utah and the Laramies, the fighting Laramies? Alan, you got to keep up on that. Where's my score bug? What are we doing? Hey, West Virginia, we see you, by the way. Rich Rodriguez is a winner, winning the backyard brawl. 10-0, 3:49 left in the third. The fighting Sunny Dykes 35-9 over Abilene Christian. Baylor, we'll have some Big 12 discussion tonight before we get out of here. Baylor over Stanford 42-7, workmanlike. They gave up a touchdown early in the first quarter, and that was it. They shut them out from there. But yeah, West Virginia, you have my attention with that win tonight. Iowa State, what are we doing? Screwing around with Arkansas State, winning 24-16. And then everything else, we all know about Kansas State, what has gone on there. Getting you guys on the United Supermarkets chat line. What did you like, love? What did you not like? I don't think there's anything you could hate tonight in this game. What are you most interested in, intrigued by going into the Utah game? And just general thoughts. How many of y'all stuck it out there after the long rain delay? Or lightning delay or whatever. We all hate them, right? We all hate the lightning delays. We think Coy Aiken, and this is, again, I want to say again, if you're just getting in, the stats on the tech site, and it's not their fault, but were just bad all night. They had all sorts of struggles. So we're using the CBSSports.com, and I think they're really close. And I really hope Tech ends up grading this thing out to over 600 yards total offense. It's at 599. Yeah. Again, when this was still a game, I thought Barry Morton did a great job of identifying matchups, receivers, and that's one of the reasons why they kept trying to go to Virgil in the first half. And they kept trying to get that because he knew he had a great matchup size-wise. And he was able to pick on them with Aiken early on. Their slot coverage, was substandard. 7 targets, 6 catches, $139 and a touchdown. By the way, Coy Aiken does not respect your defensive backs. He will not go out of bounds. He will run over you. How cool is that to watch? As great as Morton was, I would give my game ball to the attitude of Aiken tonight. 100%. Charlie, very good run by Jacoby, which maybe one of the best runs of the night. Wiped out 2 penalties, 25 yards. Got to clean that up next week. I agree. Too many penalties. 10 penalties on the night. Chris talking about linebackers not making as many plays. That's a good thing. Okay, yeah. And we talk about line of scrimmage control, and when you see your down lineman getting in on tackles, and getting a half tackle or getting in on tackles, that's massive. And that will probably change a little bit in Big 12 play. You would think that the linebackers would become a little bit more involved, that you wouldn't dominate a line of scrimmage completely physically. I mean, the gap control, it's not even gap control. It's just reestablishment of the line of scrimmage right now in a way that the running back doesn't have a chance to make a cut. And for the most parts here in the early season, teams have just given up trying to run tackle to tackle. They try to figure out a way to get the ball outside the tackles, get on the anything. Chris, we at least still got the glorious flyover with the Army choppers coming through, and it was surreal, man. You had the low-hanging clouds. You had the red smoke from the national anthem and everything else hanging over the stadium, and the choppers come through. And I'm telling you, if I tell you that beach is safe to surf, it's safe to surf, son. Look at the waves. They break both ways. They break to the left. They break to the right. Get out there and surf. Beautiful. I mean, literally, Jones Stadium was a hot LZ there before kickoff. Very cool. Alan gets in on the United Supermarket chat line, talking about 45-14 Tech victory, 3-0 Utah next week. Utah-Wyoming looks like you expect a Mountain West game. Not even a good one from the old days. Well, that would be a whack game. D-line very strong. Like them holding Utah, rushing down next week. Do I have Utah queued up on a game track? I thought I did. Maybe I don't. Let's get a game track going on Utah right now, live as it's happening. And where are they statistically speaking? So Utah right now 210 through the air, 232 rush, and 442 to 98 total yards, and a 10-0 lead with 32 seconds left. I need to know turnovers. Alan Corbin, who is following this for us, do we have some turnovers in this game tonight? I have not. When I'm totally dialed in on tech when we do these, and I don't go back and forth on games. I don't do anything else. Pay attention to what we're doing here. What do we got there? Because that's some statistical domination. James, happy to see most of the starters play into the fourth quarter. You get Will Hammond in there early in the third. You worked out, and that's kind of what we thought they would do this week. It wouldn't no sell changes. You would work different players in. So they had twos mixed in with ones in the third, and you started seeing some of those guys come out, and that's good. That's fine. I like that too because from now on, the backups will not come in as a whole group. If they have to play, they're going to be asked to play with the ones. They need some of that time out there getting that together. I think it's really impressive too that the second halves have been actually as clean as they have been for the most part. With as many players as you would have to go back to the early, mid 2000s. I think to find a player participation chart as high as what we have seen so far this year, and just the sheer number of players who got letter jackets now. They're going to go broke. Cody Campbell, Sellers, and Womble, those guys, I mean, Shaggy, if you're watching Shaggy, you're going to have to kick in some more money just because they're going to have to buy just so many letter jackets this year that the old Double T Association, they may go out of business. Hey, you have played a ton of players compared to what most teams have done through 3 games this year. If you're just getting in on Raiderland Rewind, brought to you by Lubbock's Live Life Well Clinic, headed up by Dr. John Skelton, a great Red Raider. We're in the Hat Creek Interior Studios. Tech winning 45-14, finding out what you liked, loved, hated, everything in between. You name it. Were you out there today? Kudos to all the fans who hung around and did what they could. I thought, it still was a really good college football environment there in the second half, or not in the second half. Well, yeah, in the second half. But I mean, after a 2-hour and 23-minute rain delay that I think we all agree we got to get rid of these things. Like 10 minutes, all right, we're all going to live. Everything's good. I mean, for those of you who are out there, the media types, you just sit around the press box, you hang out, and you eat the food, and you visit, and you do whatever. But for you folks, what did y'all do? Did you go back? I guess you went back to your tailgates. Did you stay in the stands? For any of you who survived the second weather delay of the year for Texas Tech, I'm intrigued. Like what did y'all do to kill time for a couple of hours today? And the forecast, they got the forecast wrong. It wasn't supposed to start until this evening. And of course, even, like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, we could look over there to the west and we could kind of see the showers and everything. We're like, surely not. And then like an hour out from kickoff, we're in the press box looking at the radar. It's going to slide to the north, maybe slide to the south. All the lightning, it's down there, it's south. We're going to, and then, like I said, 15 minutes from kickoff, I'm like, we're going to do the national anthem, this thing. We're going to go into a weather delay. We got 5 plays in. Andy St. John says, go Tech. No, he really does. He says that a lot. Like every time I see him, that's what he says. If you ever run into him, he'll probably say that to you. So jump in on the United Supermarkets chat line. Anything statistically that we have missed? We've talked about Williams. I thought Dickey came in and gave you that drive there in the second quarter where everybody's like, where's the running game? And then Dickey comes in at a time when the game is still not in doubt. The game was never in doubt. But they put together some things with Dickey and running the football, and I saw what I liked and what I wanted to see, and went, okay, all right, that'll work. Dickey's line is not going to be anything that you're just going to go, oh wow, that's just an incredible stat line. We end up running, 77 yards. Got him a touchdown, had a long as 16. Williams 13, 48, 10. Somewhere in Oregon State, media type or fan is typing, hey, say what you want, but own the fourth quarter and totally shut down their leading rusher, Adam Hill. Held him to just 2 yards on an attempt. We took away Adam Hill. Somebody's doing that somewhere. Can we demand a schedule change for next year? Maybe home and home with Wisconsin or Auburn? Whiskey. Good heavens. Offensively debilitated. Auburn taking care of Baylor, though. Again, we are entering the portion of the program where we can start to talk about the Big 12 and ask the question, is anybody good in the Big 12? I mean, we think Texas Tech is good. You better hope Texas Tech is good. But we're watching a Utah team whose previously we thought, and this, by the way, is why it's about 3 weeks in when we should start doing polls and making value judgments on teams. Because a couple of weeks ago, you thought, hey, Utah beating UCLA. That's a good win. UCLA getting beat by New Mexico at the Rose Bowl. Kansas State. Even Iowa State today not showing you anything. We just, the league, you got a problem. I'm sorry. And that's why when you kick the field goal, what was it to go up? Was it 38? Yeah, to make it 38. And I'm like, okay, this is the nice thing to do. And I'm going to talk about this over the next week or two and probably all throughout the season. If Texas Tech's going to make the college football playoff, you've got to absolutely pulverize teams and run up the score, because I don't think the Big 12 is going to have any respect by the time mid-October, late October rolls around. No skins on the wall in non-conference for the most part. What, Baylor winning at SMU? We're going to do that? That, depending on how and Tech and Utah could very well be an elimination game for the playoff, for the college football playoff, let alone the Big 12 title game. This league's got not systemic issues. Pardon me. Hold on, I get emotional. But they have given the ammunition to the critics by the non-conference schedules and losses to hammer you. They've done, this league has done it, and Texas Tech is as guilty as anybody because you didn't play anybody worth a darn. You beat the hell out of them, but you're going to get no credit for it. Will they move up in the rankings? Probably. Clemson lost, and you'll move up a couple of spots. But you're in a place right now, you have to run the score up on everybody you can do it. And when they kicked that field goal, I thought, and they called the timeout, and I know, they're sitting there going, okay, is it doable? We know we can get the 3 points. That's fine. I would have had no problem. I had no problem with them going for it on fourth down there in the first half. I would have had no problem if they'd gone for a score right there. And you can tell Bray and Oregon State after it's over, I'm sorry, we're in a bad spot right now. So we got to do what we got to do. The 26 receptions to 9 players for Tech. Yep, it's really good. Boy, Carter had some really nice ones, by the way. And they were just so trying hard to get Virgil involved and targeting him so many times. And you had that. Was it the same series that Morton ended up throwing the interception on, where they were targeting Virgil like 3 times, or I can't remember if that was the same series or not. There are like 2 series that were just kind of like, that's not so good. Not bad, just not so good. But they really tried to get him involved because it was a good matchup, and it took forever to get that first catch. Hope the Oregon State fans get home having to pump their own gas. Man, that's harsh. That was. I mean, just out of whatever. Let's see, Chris Carpenter. A gas attendant drives me crazy in Oregon. See, for those who don't know, there are some states where you can't pump your own gas. That legally, you cannot pump your own gas. Got Tech TCU Big 12 championship game. I mean, who's good right now? TCU went over UNC. They're doing what they need to do tonight. Baylor. If we get past that Auburn game and we look at Baylor, we got something maybe going on there. Utah, what are we doing right now, Utes? 17-0. This was a 23-point spread, 23.5. And again, they are statistically dominating this game. 450 total yards to 125 total yards. Rush yards, 232 right now for Utah. Dampier has got 86 of them. So, hello, running quarterback. 13 for 86. Broke one off for 23. And then Rogers has got another 58 on him. And Parker at 49. All right. So, they're running the football pretty well. Can Wyoming get into the end zone? Into Utah territory right now, 3rd and 3 with 12:42 to go. Let's go Utes. And I agree with this statement. The Mississippi State loss, killer for the conference. Yeah, because Arizona State, supposed to be your bell cow, supposed to be one of your stud teams, and they go and they lose at a place that hadn't had a win like that since 1991. Talking about Mississippi State ranked team Starkville non-con. They'd lost like 13 straight or 9. I can't remember what it was. And you look bad doing it, and that hurts the perception. And everybody's watching it. Everybody's getting to see it, and it makes you look bad. Thank you, Arizona State. We appreciate that. But again, Tech can't, crow too much. You didn't play anybody. You didn't go to Starkville. So yeah, you gotta run up the score on people. Damon's on our YouTube channel, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland on YouTube. Subscribe to that; it's free. Everybody on YouTube, hit like, hit share, invite people in, tell your friends we do this, and don't forget we're here every weeknight, 6:30 to 7+ on the daily broadcast, live on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland, and of course Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Going into the fourth quarter in Laramie, Utah, already 30 minutes in time of possession. Well, they're just hogging the ball, man. Tomorrow, NFL Sunday, everybody likes the Cowboys, right? No way they could lose to the Giants. Dak Prescott beats the Giants. For the Cowboy fans out there, how painful is it to watch Green Bay looking as good as they look on defense right now after 2 games with Micah Parsons and hearing some of the comments out of the Green Bay locker room? And then again, Cowboy fans may be so numb to it that it doesn't matter. But Cowboys probably get it done tomorrow. We're going to be paying attention to Kansas City and Philadelphia in a major way. Now, Kansas City catches a little bit of a break. Philadelphia's Dallas Goedert is out with a knee injury, not long-term, not going IR, but he's been ruled out today. So that takes away a pretty good weapon there for Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia. It's been a minute since Kansas City would have started a season 0-2. And I mean, you talk about front loading the schedule. The NFL has given us division games, top team games, top conference games that matter right off the bat. Buffalo and Baltimore and all that good stuff that we saw in week 1. And it's just so good. I mean, I love college football, but the NFL is just so good week in and week out. So looking forward to that. We're going to be with you in the morning with our weekly Sunday column. 5 things we know on a Sunday, sometimes football related. sometimes not football related. Actually, it's hardly ever football related. It's life related. We got a few things going on in life. So get your last comments and questions in here on the United Supermarkets chat line as we hang out with you in the Hat Creek Interior Studios on Raiderland Rewind, brought to you and presented by the Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock, Texas. I want you to go to their Facebook page, tell them thanks for sponsoring the Rewind, and tell them you'll be seeing Dr. John Skelton soon because they got a lot of great programs for you. Guys, I think you're going to love it when you start crawling through their website and looking around at what they do and how they do it. I think for a lot of you, you're going to go, man, you're speaking my language. These are some of the challenges I've been going through from a health standpoint and everything else. I'm looking for a couple of different ways to get better, and they can help you do it. They want to help you do it. That's why they're there. Is there a better name than Live Life Well? What do we want to do? We want to live life well. So tell Dr. Skelton that we sent you. Yeah. So a couple more minutes left tonight with you. Get your comments in, whether it's Texas Tech or anything else. You know, it's kind of open lines at this point. 10:21 left, and it's 2nd and 16 for Wyoming. 10:21 to go there in the fourth quarter with the Utes up 17-0. Other Big 12 scores. 11 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Why is this? Well, okay, it's not too long. It was a late start. TCU up 42-15. We're not talking enough about Hoover, are we? We're probably not. 217 yards and 3 TDs. I know Abilene Christian. I know, but Tech fans, you know as well. Cincinnati needs to play Northwestern State 70-0 final. They need to play them more often. Baylor won 42-7, like we said. We did not probably give West Virginia enough credit today. 31-24, winning in overtime against Pittsburgh. We find out that they're going to keep playing this game, I think, for another 10 years or so, which is fantastic. The old backyard brawl. This is a legitimate nice win for the Big 12. A West Virginia team that nobody quite sure what Rich Rod's squad was going to look like. They're now 2-1. So you get a win over a team that plays in a conference. We'll take that. Arizona State and Texas State just underway scoreless out there in Tempe. Our old friend Clint Shields. He used to do. He's on the Texas State broadcast, part of that great broadcast down there in San Marcos. But Clint was one of our friends there at KKM back in the day. Kind of helped us launch it in 96, 97, and he did a lot of Lubbock cricket games. So if you hear him on the Texas State broadcast, he's a good West Texas guy. And then the finals from earlier this week, 23-17 Arizona over Kansas State, and Houston beating Colorado rather handily, 36-20. We don't have time tonight to have a deep discussion. Colorado, not bad, not good, not bad. Does Gunny make it to November or December? Yes, unless he quits, he will make it that far. It'll be ugly, but he'll make it that far. The Philly offensive line is the best in the NFL. Right now, it's the best in the NFL. Aggies and Notre Dame tied at 31. Good game in South Bend. 2 Aggie sons are there. Well, you can't raise them all right. Just kidding. And then, Charlie, Arch Manning will not be a Heisman finalist this year. Not right now. Listen, hey, Sarkisian, if he ain't hurt, you better come up with something. I probably would have, gone with the idea that maybe he's hurt. And all of a sudden, maybe he will be hurt, quote, hurt this week. But, yeah, there's a Heisman Trophy candidate in Texas, and he plays in Lubbock, Texas right now. I mean, if Arch Manning had Baron Morton's stats right now, and of course, one of those games would have been against Ohio State, so whatever. But even playing Tech's schedule, the media would be drooling. That if Texas had played Tech's schedule and it was Arch Manning putting up those numbers, 100%, he would be the short shot favorite, to win the Heisman Trophy. And I get torn between don't get caught up in awards and stuff like that, but I just kind of hate it because it's a narrative award now, not a performance award. But if you go back, no preseason Heisman Trophy favorite has won the award since 2017. And then going into the season, I kept saying on any show I was on and national shows, If Arch Manning was so great, why couldn't he beat out Quinn Ewers, who's not an NFL quarterback? That if Arch Manning is that guy, how could he not beat out Quinn Ewers? I'm not trying to be mean to Arch Manning, not at all. That's just the reality, the fact. So either something's wrong, that he does have arm issues, he does have shoulder issues right now, or he's a guy who played against about 2A level competition in Louisiana, and he maybe just isn't that good. It's been known to happen. And I ain't rooting against him. I like him. I think he has handled himself so well in the media storm and all the scrutiny and everything else. I think the young man has comported himself perfectly. I want nothing. If he were having great success right now, wouldn't be any skin off my, whatever. That'd be great, you know? So I got nothing against him. Hey, he wants to wear the burnt orange. No, whatever you want to do, that's fine. Go live your life. But he couldn't beat out Quinn Ewers. All right, you guys are the best. Check out the site. We're going to have this archived here in just a few minutes at theraiderland.com. You can share it on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. On YouTube, you can hit share and invite your friends in there for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so. Same thing if you're not subscribed and following us on Facebook. It don't cost a thing. It's all free for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. And then you guys got us on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. Our Twitter people are fantastic. We just get scads of people live and on replay. So even the replay people will be up for just a little while tonight. You can hit us on Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media. But we look forward to our Sunday column, and then just got a big week. We believe we have meaningful football coming up against a Utah team that now leads 24-0 as he finds Buchanan in the end zone for a 14-yard touchdown. So they are now in cover territory with 8:35 to go, leading 24-0 over the Cowboys. Come on, Cowboys. You can get there. You can do it. Just one score. That's all we ask. You can do it, right? Right, Wyoming? All right. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for being a part of everything we do here at theraiderland.com.